Despite the rapid rise in inventory levels that has resulted from the resurgence in new listings, inventory levels at the end of February in both property type categories were still well within the ballpark of the pre-pandemic norm that was established roughly from 2013 onward. It will take a lot more inventory to put a significant dent in home prices.
This is a common myth because we do not need to see inventory levels, whether we're talking about Florida, California, or any state, we do not need to see inventory levels increase above pre-COVID levels. So even though this video here is talking about condo prices in the condo market here, this is, by the way, from the Florida Realtors Association, just posted a little bit ago. They're talking about here how inventory levels of existing houses plus condos in Florida are more or less in line with 2013 through 2019. But what you guys should be focused on in any market, whether it's Florida, California, whatever, is the rates of increasing or decreasing inventory levels. Because again, we do not need to see inventory levels increase above pre-COVID levels in order to see prices fall. I mentioned that because here is a report from the Florida Realtors regarding the housing market for townhomes and condos. So right now, or at least for the month of February, there's just over 55,000 condos and townhomes across the entire state. That's an increase of 73.3% on top of last year's gain from February 2022 through February of 2023, a giant surge of 106%. So 1 year ago, year over year, increasing by 106%. Now, this February, rising by 73%. Also, just 2 months ago, back in December last year, there was 45,000 houses or condos and townhouses for sale. So therefore, inventory has surged by 22% over the past 2 months alone. So again, what I'm more focused on is the rate of increasing inventory levels, which really impacts home prices. And really, don't take my word for it. Here's some information I want to share with you guys, because based on the existing resale market or existing houses on a national level, and this is based on my own analysis of the National Association of Realtors data. If you guys all know, of course, home prices fell in the second half of 2022. That's based on the median sold price on a national level. So the all-time record highs, this is according to NAR, back in June 2022 for all housing types was $414,000. Then it decreased to $361,000 by the time we hit January 2023. That was a 13% decrease in prices over the span of about 7 months. I mentioned that because back in this time frame, back in 2022, inventory levels did not even get close to 2019's levels. But what really happened was the sharp rise of inventory. So like I said right here, this is due, or this 13% decrease in the median sold price from June 22 through January 2023 was due to inventory skyrocketing in a very short period of time, rising by 82% from April 2022 through July of 2022. So nearly doubling in just 3 months. So when the Realtors Association in Florida is telling us that, yeah, this is just getting to pre-pandemic norms, what we really should be focusing on is this sharp rise of inventory, reaching all-time record lows in the spring months of 2022 and absolutely skyrocketing thereafter. This graph goes back to 2008. And ever since then, there hasn't been this sharp rise of inventory levels any single year. Only small increases and decreases each and every year, not this sharp rise of inventory levels. So if you guys don't think this is going to impact prices for single family houses and condos in Florida, you guys are actually wrong. So let me just kind of share some of my own thoughts regarding this, because I was trying to think of a video to make today, and this is something you guys should be aware of. So here's looking at data according to Realtor.com. So I want to share how, even though we saw far fewer houses for sale in 2022 compared to pre-pandemic norms, home prices still fell. So in July 2022, there was approximately 691,000 houses for sale. Again, that's according to Realtor.com. Then looking back at April 2022, nearly 380,000. What really caught my attention was this giant increase on a month-to-month basis. From April to May, inventory surged by 26%. Then in June, rising by 20%, and then increasing once again in July, up by 21%. So inventory levels, based on my nerdy Excel format here, increased a whopping 82% from April through July 2022. And on top of that, housing supply or housing inventory more than doubled from March to August of 2022. So in a span of just 5 months, inventory doubled on a national level. And that's the main reason why prices tanked in the second half of 2022, despite the fact that back in pre-COVID levels, back in July 2019, 1.2 million houses for sale compared to only 691,000 at the peak in July 2022. So despite the fact that there was 547,000 fewer houses for sale that July in 2022 compared to 2019, home prices tanked by 13% in the last half of the year. Now, here's another way to look at this. Here is a look at inventory levels according to the National Association of Realtors. I found this on calculatedriskblog.com. This only goes through mid-2023, but as of February, according to NAR, there was 1.07 million houses for sale. The numbers on NAR's website tend to be more inflated compared to Realtor.com, Redfin, or AltosResearch.com, because I believe that NAR includes some pending home sales in their data. In any case, it doesn't really matter because I want to share this because at around 1.07 million right now, it hasn't really changed a whole lot since January 2023. Let's look at 2022 though, because again, inventory increased to, according to them, around 1.2 million houses for sale. But looking at pre-pandemic levels, which is right here through, let's just call it 2012, back then, inventory levels ranged from 1.5 to nearly 2.5 million houses for sale. So even though in 2022, right here, the peak at around 1.2 million houses for sale, far below pre-COVID levels, but despite that, home sold prices decreased by 13%. So just taking a step back here, if you saw a supply of houses or anything that's for sale, if inventory levels doubled in less than 3 or 5 months, then of course that's going to put downward pressure on home prices. Again, follow the rate of inventory changes and not how it compares to years past. That's my best advice for you guys. In any case, I want to share a lot more trends because there's a lot of alarming trends regarding the Florida housing market, regarding townhomes and condos. And I'll provide some reasons why the condo market is collapsing in Florida right now. So this covers the month of February this year compared to February last year. And I'll share some graphics showing how these numbers here compare to years past. And this is according to the Florida Realtors Association. So closed home sales decreased by 2.5%, even though prices or the median sold price of condos and townhomes on the statewide level still increased. I'm going to make a video in a few months to give you an update regarding this because I would not be surprised to see home prices decrease in the months to come due to inventory levels increasing big time. Time will tell. I'll definitely keep you posted. So the median percent of original list price received, this is at 95.1%. This is a fancy way to say that on average, for the condos and townhomes that sold this February, they sold for approximately 5% below the seller's original asking price. 1 year ago, it was at 96%. Time in the market. This is a time frame when you list your house for sale until you accept an offer from a home buyer that increased by 35%. Days in the market, it's at 46 days this February, 1 year ago at 34 days. Here's something that really caught my attention that you guys should be aware of as well. So here's a look at demand versus supply. The demand side, a early indication of home buying demand based on contracts being signed between buyers and sellers or pending home sales, decreased by 4.8% year over year. However, new listings surging by 30%. So a giant increase of new supply, yet contracts being signed decrease on a year-over-year basis. This to me tells us that supply is far outpacing demand right now. On top of that, there's 73% more condos and townhomes in Florida right now, or I should say this February, compared to February 2023. Also, look at this, the month supply nearly doubling at 96.9% gain year over year. The month supply at 6.3 months. Absolutely crazy. Let's take a quick look at the median sold price in Florida here. And again, this is a lagging indication of the Florida housing market or the Florida condo market because this is based on closed home sales. So for example, get your offer accepted. 1 month later, approximately, maybe the condo is yours, right? So this is very much a lagging indication of our housing market here. So the gain in the median sold price was up by 3.2%, quite a bit less than a year ago where we saw a gain of 8.6%. So in my personal opinion right now, we are seeing a seasonal uptick in prices, but time will tell what will happen this spring because when inventory surges, therefore that puts downward pressure on home prices. So I'll definitely keep you posted with the latest developments on that. Okay, let's talk about the median time to contract or days in the market. Again, that's at 46 days right now, an increase of 35% year over year, on top of the 142.9% gain year over year we saw last year. Absolutely crazy. So 1 year ago at 34 days, but looking back at, what was this, in May of 2022, as well as April, days in the market at around 10 days. Now it's at 46 days. So days in the market, more than quadrupling ever since then. Even though right now at 46 days, this is still faster though, compared to February 2020. Back then, days in the market was around 55 days. Again, this is a lagging indication of our housing market because this is based on closed home sales. So a lot could change in the months ahead. All right, let's talk a little bit more regarding the supply side here. So the amount of new listings for condos and townhomes up by 30.3% compared to the 7% decrease we saw 1 year ago. And here's a chart looking at the number of new listings ever since January 2020. I really wish they would include 2019's levels, but we saw that chart at the very beginning of this video here. In any case, besides the previous month at 16,906 this February, that's the highest amount of new listings since approximately March of 2021, which is right there, right in line more or less with what we're seeing right now at around 17,000 new listings. This is also much higher compared to February 2020, right before the onset of COVID, when at that time there was just under 15,000 new listings. In regards to active listings in Florida, we've been seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive months of inventory gains. Now it increased by 73.3% year over year. On top of that, at 55,000 condos for sale as of the end of February, this is the highest level since at least 2020. Again, what I'm more focused on is this sharp rise of inventory levels over the past 2 months, increasing by 22%. And because inventory rose so fast over the past 2 months, this has a lagging effect on closed home sales. So we won't see the true effects regarding this increase of inventory levels for another couple of months. Let's also have a look at the month supply at 6.3 months. 1 year ago is at 3.2 months. This is something that really just blew my, I just couldn't believe it. Anyways, this February increasing by 97%, whereas 1 year ago, it increased by 167%. So despite this more than doubling that we saw in 2023, the month supply increased once again, rising nearly 100% this February. And here's a chart below here. It has been rising each and every month ever since August last year. And at 6.3 months, this is at least a 3-year high, because last time inventory was this high was looking at pre-COVID levels. In addition to that, look at January, February, and March of 2022. The month supply was around 1 month. Now it's at 6.3 months. So basically 6 times the month supply we have right now compared to the early parts of 2022. Now, before I share some reasoning behind why are condos and townhomes, why is the market softening so much right now, I want to share this with you guys. Here's a look at the total number of condos and townhouse home sales this February compared to foreclosures and short sales. So right now, foreclosures and short sales are more or less non-existent in the state. So for the month of February, there was 7,427,000 traditional sales. In other words, not a foreclosure, not a short sale. There was 38 that were foreclosures and only 6 that were short sales. In other words, distressed home sales, foreclosures, and short sales represented less than 1% of all closed home sales this February. All right, let's talk about why is the condo market in Florida basically on edge right now. And if you guys are still watching today's video, then please hit the like button. I really appreciate that, because I spent all day researching today's video, because I just was blown away with the housing market here. And I really want to figure out what the heck is going on here. I found this article from Redfin posted at the end of February. It says prices of condos in major Florida metros are dropping year over year, and sales are decreasing. New condo listings are soaring as sellers try to offload their properties. That differs from the US as a whole, where condo prices are rising, sales are holding steady, and new listings are increasing, but at a much slower rate. So for example, in the US for condos, this is based on the median sold price this January compared to January 2023. For the US as a whole, we saw a gain up by 8.4%, whereas Miami, Florida decreased by 2.5%. Jacksonville, Florida fell by 6.5%. You can see that here. Prices decrease in Jacksonville, down 6.5%. Orlando, down by 4.8%. But for the state as a whole, for condos this January, compared to January 23, it increased by 2.4%. But overall for the state, increasing by 8.4%. Sales of condos in Florida down by 7% compared to flat on a national level for condos. New listings surged by 28% compared to the 11% average nationwide. Active listings for condos in Florida up by 40%, whereas US only increased by 11%. So why are the dynamics in Florida different compared to on a national level? Redfin agents report that Florida's condo sales are slow because the cost of buying a condo has shot up, and listings, people listing their condos for sale, are skyrocketing because the cost of owning a condo has shot up. The average cost of homeowners insurance across Florida increased by about 40% in 2003 alone, and HOA fees are multiplying for many condo buildings. In addition to slowing demand, the rising cost of insurance and fees are pushing prices down. Condo costs are shocking, says a Redfin agent. Condos that used to have a $400 monthly maintenance due now have a $700 per month fee. So some maintenance fees nearly doubling in a span of a very short period of time. It's causing buyers to rethink their plans. I mean, wouldn't you rethink your plans if you saw rising HOA dues, rising insurance costs, rising interest rates, et cetera, et cetera. Meanwhile, Florida's HOA fees are increasing because there are new condo regulations in place this year in the wake of the 2021 Surfside condo collapse. The new regulations require HOAs to regularly assess the safety of condo buildings and, in many cases, collect more money for maintenance and repairs. And lastly, home insurance costs are skyrocketing in Florida due to the increasing intensity of hurricanes and other natural disasters. Homeowners insurance costs 3 times more in Florida than the national average. Get that? Average insurance costs tripling in Florida, more than the national average, making it the most expensive state in the whole United States to insure a house. And with that said, please leave me a comment below with your biggest takeaways from today's video. Of course, my biggest takeaway was this giant surge of inventory levels, which really reminded me of our housing market back in 2022 on a national level. So what I'm going to be closely following is the pace of inventory growth, because if inventory keeps increasing by 25% every couple of months, that's going to put downward pressure on condo prices in the state of Florida. Time will tell, and I'll definitely keep you posted with the latest developments. If you guys got any value out of today's video, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. Also, consider subscribing as well. Hope you have an awesome day. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.